as promised on the 30th. I think what's far more likely is that they will be extended further. And what we're building into our forecasts at Maplecroft is that these elections will actually take place over a much longer period. We're probably looking at pushing them into definitely Q1 2019 instead of this 30th of December date, which is a real shame for the process of democracy in DRC.
Okito, for an election that's already been delayed numerous times, won't further delay just further inflame and anger supporters of the opposition in DRC?
Again, I really appreciate especially the position Edigo mentioned about the ongoing election process. Let me clarify on this again. There is no way we will accept what is happening now to Karen. Speaking now, the position and especially Congolese people really are very happy to see the change of regime, and the people are celebrating during this campaign, even though we have seen a number of victims and people being killed when the opposition leader tried to campaign during this very critical time. And speaking now, we don't see how this election will take place. What we're calling now is the application of the law. I think by now we have to start calling for Mr. Kabila and Mr. Nanga both have to resign because they have got no sign to organize election. They failed to organize elections since 2016, and continuously we have seen a serious number of abuse and the intention delay tactic imposed by the regime carry on with another strategy of having another week, while nothing is sure that even next week we're going to have a credible election. Speaking now, we have to see some respect of the law, and I'm calling for the international community to help Congolese people. Mr. Kabila must resign, and we're going to have a stable election in a very short time.
Alain, you just heard Okito there call for the resignation of President Kabila. What is your response to that?
I think what Mr. Okito said is just a wish thinking from a man who has no knowledge of our constitution. Mr. Kabila cannot resign because the constitution says that when there is no an elected president, the current president cannot go. To go just to please to Mr. Okito or to people like him, because their target is to have a transition with Mr. Kabila. But what about our constitution? I think we have to respect the law, as he said, and the law say we must organize election, and the institution qualified to organize the election is the Central Electoral Commission. That's all. The pitch is very, very simple.
Indigo, if the elections are actually held, how much of a chance do Martin Fayulu or Felix Tshisekedi have in defeating the handpicked successor of Joseph Kabila, Emmanuel Ramazani Shadary?
They have very little chance. What we forecast is that there will be an unfair election with, without doubt, contested results. The opposition have already said that they will not accept any result where Shadary wins. Shadary, it will be a question of how far the government will be able to manipulate the result so that Shadary wins, whether it will be by a large margin, which will obviously result in further unrest and violent demonstrations. And this is kind of the worst case scenario. The other alternative is that they manipulate the vote so that Shadary wins by a small amount, ensuring that he is able or needs to